Ladies and gentlemen, warriors of the moment, I came to shake the sleep off your spirit and wake up the greatness that's been waiting on you to show up. This is not a season to survive. This is a season to geohardy. Not halfway, not soft, not scared, not someday. 2025 demands a version of you that doesn't flinch at fear and doesn't bow to pressure. You've been quiet long enough. You've played small long enough. You've let circumstances do the talking long enough. 2025 is not the time for hesitation. It's the time for execution. You don't need another motivational post. You don't need another confirmation. You already know you're called to more. You feel it in your bones. The late nights, the unanswered prayers, the quiet frustrations, all of it has been training ground. You've been forged in fire. Now walk in force. You see, people say you've changed this year. Don't backtrack. Thank them, because going hard in 2025 means going silent on foolishness, means going broke on excuses and bankrupt on blame. It means your grind isn't just external, it's internal. The hardest thing to conquer isn't the world, it's your mind. This version of you is going to stop negotiating with average. Stop asking for permission from people who've never even tried. Stop shrinking so others feel comfortable. Stop delaying because the path isn't clear. Sometimes you go hard before the road reveals itself. The way doesn't open until the decision is made. In 2025, your mindset isn't just upgraded, it's rewritten. It's not just hustle hard. It's heal strong. You're not just chasing success. You're becoming substance. Because going hard isn't about noise. It's about depth. You go hard when you rise without applause. You go hard when you build with no blueprint. You go hard when you believe without visible evidence. You go hard when you move even when motivation is missing. You're not going hard to prove them wrong. You're going hard to prove you were right to believe in yourself. This is Geo Hard Minutes 2.0, not version 1.0. That version needed encouragement. This version, it is encouragement. That version sought inspiration. This one, it creates it. You are not starting over. You're starting from experience. There comes a time in every person's life when they must make a decision. Either they will shrink to fit the limitations that others place on them, they will rise without apology into the full stature of who they were created to be. Going hard is not just a statement. It's not a slogan or a trend. It is a mindset, a relentless decision, a holy defiance against mediocrity. And in this new season, this new year, this new you, there is no longer space for second-guessing your power. To go hard without apology means you've finally stopped making yourself digestible for people who never intended to taste your greatness. You've stopped watering yourself down to quench someone else's insecurity. You've stopped apologizing for wanting more growth, more vision, more territory, more freedom, more impact. You were not designed to be passive. You were not wired for the background. You were not assigned this life just to tiptoe through it quietly, hoping not to disturb anyone with your presence. When you start to go hard, you'll disturb the comfortable. You'll rattle the cages of people stuck in the cycles you escaped. You'll make others uncomfortable, not because you're being arrogant, but because your courage exposes their complacency. But here's the hard truth. You're not responsible for their comfort. You're responsible for your calling. And that calling cannot be fulfilled by playing it safe. You were not built for safety. You were built for significance. Going hard without apology is about walking into a room and not dimming your fire just because others are afraid of heat. You don't owe anyone a toned down version of yourself. You don't need to defend your dreams to small minds. You don't need to justify your ambition to those who never dared to believe beyond what they could see. Your intensity is not a problem. Your passion is not too much. Your vision is not too big. It's just that many have settled for survival while you've chosen expansion. Don't ever apologize for wanting to maximize your potential. Don't ever apologize for wanting to own the space you've been called to. Don't ever apologize for running toward purpose while others are walking in circles. This mindset, this fire, this boldness doesn't come from perfection. It comes from pain. It's not born in applause, but in adversity. You learned to go hard because you had to, because the soft version of you was taken advantage of, because the quiet version of you was overlooked, because the fearful version of you got tired of waiting for someone else to save you. And yet, going hard doesn't mean being loud or reckless. It means being unapologetically focused. It means being intentional. It means pushing past the pressure to conform. It means that when life throws distraction at you, you don't flinch, you lock in. When people walk away, you don't collapse, you recalibrate. The door's close, you don't cry, you create new ones. Going hard without apology also means leaving behind the identity that needed permission to evolve. You no longer need a cosign. You no longer wait for validation. You don't consult your past when making decisions about your future. You walk in authority, not arrogance, but authority, because you've earned the right to take up space. You've paid the price in silence, in sacrifice, in solitude. And now you move like someone who knows they belong. The truth is, apologizing for your grind does nothing but pacify the insecurities of those who refuse to level up. They want you to stay humble, but what they really mean is stay hidden, stay small, stay manageable. You didn't come this far to be managed, you came to dominate. There is no shame in going hard for your dream. There is no guilt in wanting to win. There is nothing wrong with running your race with everything you've got. You are not selfish for choosing purpose over popularity. You are not arrogant for choosing peace over people pleasing. You are not too much. You are exactly the right amount of fire to light up the destiny that's been assigned to your name. Yes, it might cost you friends. Yes, it might isolate you. Yes, it might break your routine. It will give you clarity. It will give you alignment. It will give you power. It will give you the type of momentum that doesn't wait for permission. The type of strength that doesn't ask for support. The type of focus that doesn't need praise to press forward. Because when you go hard without apology, you realize the approval of others is the cheapest currency for dreams. You don't need it. You don't chase it. You've found something deeper, conviction. So here you are, a new year, a new chapter, a new fire. You've got a vision in your heart that cannot be denied. You've got a purpose on your life that will not stay hidden. And you've got a responsibility to go all in, not halfway, not hesitant. Humble in the way they define it, but bold, focused, unshakable. This is your moment to break every barrier, mental, emotional, relational, and generational, to stop editing yourself for approval, to stop holding back your roar, to stop lowering your standards just to fit in. Before the elevation, before the breakthrough, before the next level, there must first be a shift in the mind. Everything you see around you, the circumstances, the results, the rhythm of your life is a reflection of your mindset. You will never rise above the level of your thinking. You cannot outrun your belief system. That's why the first step to true transformation is not changing your environment, your schedule, or your circle. It's upgrading your mindset. You've been taught to chase change externally, work harder, move faster, show up earlier. And while all of that has its place, none of it will be sustainable if your thinking is still tied to who you used to be. You can't walk into the promise of 2025 with a 2020 mindset. You can't receive a new level of blessing with old mental blocks still running the show, because mindset is everything. It is the engine behind every decision, every habit, every relationship, every risk. You cannot talk yourself into a better life while thinking yourself into a worse one. The mind is the battlefield where destiny is won or lost. You can be free on the outside, but still stuck on the inside. You can look successful and still be tormented by insecurity. You can have opportunities all around you and still sabotage them if your mind hasn't caught up with your mission. That's why you have to do the work. Not the pretty work, but the private, gritty, often invisible work of upgrading your mindset. This is not about just thinking positive. This is about deprogramming beliefs that have been planted in you since childhood. It's about identifying the lies that have become invisible laws, rules you live by without even realizing. Lies like, those lies have written the script of your life long enough. But the truth is, your mind was never meant to be a prison. It was designed to be a platform, a launch pad, a weapon of clarity, vision, and power. Because once your mindset is upgraded, your responses change, your boundaries get stronger. Your language shifts. You stop speaking in fear and start speaking in faith. You stop thinking in lack and start thinking in legacy. You stop asking, Can I? And start declaring, I will. It's not ego, it's alignment. When you upgrade your mindset, you stop internalizing rejection as a reflection of your worth. You start seeing no as direction, not destruction. You stop tying your identity to outcomes. You learn to separate who you are from what you go through. You stop trying to be everything to everyone and start being exactly what you were designed to be for the right people in the right season. Upgrading the mind doesn't happen on accident. You have to be intentional. You have to disrupt old thought patterns. You have to replace internal critics with internal champions. You have to learn to audit your thoughts daily and ask, is this belief building me or breaking me? And if it's breaking you, release it, replace it, rewire it. Sometimes that means unlearning what you were taught by broken people who did the best they could. Sometimes it means forgiving yourself for operating in survival mode for so long. Sometimes it means surrounding yourself with new voices that don't just flatter you, but challenge you to think higher, dig deeper, and go harder. It's not about arrogance. It's about alignment. It's about recognizing that you cannot afford to let your mind coast on autopilot. Your future is too valuable. Your calling is too urgent. Your assignment is too specific. You must begin to think like the version of you who has already won, not the version still doubting their worth. When you upgrade your mindset, you begin to make decisions that are inconvenient now but transformational later. You start choosing discipline over distraction, purpose over popularity, healing over hiding. You no longer move according to what feels good. You move according to what grows you. And here's what no one tells you. Grading your mindset will cost you something. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you convenience. It might cost you some relationships. Because when your mindset evolves, you can no longer relate the same way. What once entertained you now annoys you. What once satisfied you now seems shallow. What once intimidated you now feels irrelevant. Upgrading your mindset also means embracing discomfort, because growth doesn't happen in ease, it happens in stretch. And when your mind is trained to see pressure as preparation, trials become teachers. Challenges become invitations. Failure becomes feedback. Nothing is wasted because everything is interpreted through the lens of growth. As your mind expands, so does your vision. You start dreaming differently, planning differently, speaking differently. You start attracting different opportunities because you finally become a match for what you've been praying for. The biggest shift is this. You stop asking for less resistance and start asking for more resilience. You stop praying for an easier life and start praying for a stronger mind. You no longer shrink when life gets hard. You rise because your mind has been fortified for the fight. So in this season, you must commit not just to hustling harder, but to thinking higher, to mastering your inner world so you can thrive in your outer world. You must become so mentally grounded that nothing external can shake you. Not failure, not fear, not people walking away, not unexpected storms. Distractions are subtle. They don't always come in the form of loud chaos or obvious temptation. Sometimes distractions look like obligations. Sometimes they look like opportunities that aren't aligned. Sometimes they even look like relationships that once made sense, but now drain you of peace. Anything that pulls your attention away from what truly matters, anything that detours your energy from what you're called to build, is a distraction. And in this next season of your life, you don't have the time or the capacity to entertain them. We live in an age where distraction is constant. Notifications, opinions, doubts, trends, endless updates from people you haven't seen in 10 years. Everyone trying to get your attention, your reaction, your time. You must rise up and make a decision. I choose silence over noise. I choose clarity over clutter. I choose destiny over distraction. Silencing distractions isn't about arrogance. It's not about being antisocial or cold. It's about being strategic. It's about knowing what's at stake. The enemy can't destroy you. He'll distract you. He'll keep you busy but not productive. Keep you involved in 1,000 little things so you never accomplish the one great thing you were born for. When your mind is scattered, your progress is slow. When your attention is divided, your impact is diluted. You cannot chase destiny with your phone in one hand and everyone else's opinions in the other. At some point, you have to unplug to unlock. Unplug from what drains you. Unplug from what distracts you. Unplug from what delays you. Silencing distractions means creating space. Space to hear your own thoughts. Space to hear God. Space to dream again. When you're surrounded by noise 24/7, you start living in reaction mode. You wake up reacting to messages. You go to sleep reacting to comparison. You start making decisions based on what looks popular rather than what's purposeful. When you choose silence, even if just for a moment, you tap into something deeper. You tap into clarity. You start asking better questions. What am I really building? Why am I doing this? What's the cost of my distraction? What's the reward of my discipline? Focus is not a gift, it's a discipline. Requires sacrifice. It means telling people no. It means setting boundaries. It means protecting your time like your life depends on it, because it does. You only get one shot at this life, one chapter to write called 2025. Don't let it get hijacked by meaningless drama, shallow conversations, or comparison disguised as inspiration. Silencing distractions might look like deleting the app, logging off for a while, letting the phone ring, missing the party, turning off the TV, saying no to an opportunity that looks good but isn't aligned with your purpose, walking away from a conversation that adds no value to your growth. It might also look like leaving relationships that only show up when you're down but disappear when you start rising. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Not everyone should have a front row seat to your process. Protect your peace. Guard your space. Because once you lose focus, you start to drift. And the drift is always subtle at first. You'll start skipping your disciplines. You'll start procrastinating on your dreams. You'll stop believing in yourself because the noise of other people's opinions will get louder than your own voice of truth. And then months pass, then a year. Then you wonder why you feel stuck when the whole time your attention was under attack. Silencing distractions is how you reclaim your time, reclaim your mental bandwidth, reclaim your purpose. It's how you create enough stillness in your life to move with strategy and intention instead of emotion and impulse. In silence, you will discover what matters most. Some of your greatest ideas, greatest breakthroughs, and greatest alignments won't come in noise, they'll come in the silence. That's where the real answers lie. That's where confidence is birthed. That's where the next level of you is waiting to emerge. And understand this: silence is not weakness, it's warfare. It's the refusal to be pulled into battles that don't serve your future. It's the rejection of distraction in a world that rewards reaction. Silence is strength, it's focus, it's power. In this season, don't let anyone guilt you for going quiet. Don't let anyone shame you for choosing solitude over social validation. Don't let anyone call you distant when you're really just dialed in. Your dream doesn't require noise, it requires discipline. People may not understand it now. When the results show up, when the fruit starts growing, when your life speaks louder than your words, they'll understand that, because clarity cannot coexist with chaos, because greatness is nurtured in stillness, because distraction is the enemy of destiny. So silence the distractions, silence the noise, silence the lies, and watch what happens when your life becomes fully aligned with your purpose, your power, and your peace. If you're ready to keep the fire going, I can now expand on move without motivation, build from experience, not emotion, or go hard with grace and power. Every dream that's ever been filled, every business that's ever been built, every transformation story you've ever admired, none of it happened just because someone felt motivated. It happened because someone made a decision, care enough. Even when I don't feel it, I'm still moving. That is the mindset that separates winners from wishers. That is the code of excellence. That is the posture of those who understand that destiny doesn't respond to feelings. It responds to discipline. You won't always feel excited and care enough. You won't always feel inspired. You won't always wake up with fire in your soul or pep in your step. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It asks what you're committed to. That's why it's time to kill the myth that says you need motivation to move. Care enough. That belief is stealing your progress. It's tricking you into waiting for a wave that may never come. But champions, Purpose-driven people and care enough. They don't wait for waves. They build the boat and row anyway. To move without motivation means you've grown beyond the surface level of commitment. And care enough. You're no longer a seasonal worker in your own purpose. You're no longer showing up just when it feels good. You've learned to move through the fog, care enough, through the tiredness, through the silence, through the discomfort, through the I don't feel like it. Moments that try to delay your destiny. Let's tell the truth. If you only move when you're motivated, you'll only show up 10% of the time. But if you move based on conviction, care enough, you'll keep moving long after others have quit. You'll build momentum that motivation could never give you. Care enough. Real growth begins the moment you choose movement over mood. When you stop being emotionally loyal to your excuses. Enough. When you stop being enslaved to later, tomorrow, and someday, when you stop requiring a reason to do what you know must be done. You see, care enough. Anyone can move when the conditions are perfect, when the mood is right, when the sun is shining, the energy is high, and everything feels aligned. But what about when the conditions are hostile? When the room is empty, when your body is tired, when you've been planting but haven't seen a harvest yet, and care enough, that's when you move because you're grounded, not because you're hyped. You move because you said you would, even if you don't feel like it. You move because there's something inside of you greater than convenience. That's what this generation is missing. Grit. The ability to move in silence, care enough, in struggle, in stress, in stillness. We've become addicted to feeling ready. But readiness is a decision, not an emotion. You don't get it by waiting. You get ready by doing. You get stronger by showing up. The gym won't care if you feel motivated. Care enough. The book won't write itself because you felt inspired. The business won't build itself. You posted about your dreams. Success doesn't respond to intention. It responds to action. You've got to move through the dry seasons, the days where the voice in your head says, quit, where your effort feels invisible, the days where progress is microscopic. You move anyway. Because faith isn't just believing big, it's moving small day by day, even when the progress is slow and no one's clapping. It's brushing off the discouragement, showing up to the plan, hitting that publish button, taking the next rep, writing one more paragraph, and care enough, making that goal, setting the alarm, choosing growth instead of comfort. The truth is, your feelings will lie. Care enough. They'll tell you it's too hard. They'll tell you it's not working. They'll tell you it's not worth it. And if you listen long enough, those feelings will become facts in your life. They'll steal your drive. But movement corrects your mind. You want clarity. Move. You want confidence. Move. You want strength. Move. And not just when you're inspired, especially when you're not. Because moving without motivation trains your brain to become your ally instead of your enemy. It teaches your mind that your word means something. That your dreams are not negotiable, that your body follows your decisions, not your doubts. Here's what's powerful once you build a life based on movement. Enough. Motivation will start chasing you. The energy comes after the action. The excitement comes after the execution. The passion comes after the persistence. You don't wait for momentum, you create it. Consistency is louder than any pep talk. Movement is louder than any excuse. Discipline is louder than any Monday motivation. Quote, so build your structure, protect your rhythm. Define your non-negotiables. Lock in your morning. Care enough. Guard your routine. Write it down. Show up again. Get back up. Go again. Not because you feel like it. Not because the mood is right. Care enough. But because your future demands it. That's when character is forged. That's when resolve is strengthened. That's when success becomes inevitable. Care enough, because the person who moves without motivation will eventually outrun the person who only moves when they feel inspired. Enough. And by the time they're getting started, you'll already be standing in results. It's easy to start something when your emotions are high. Enough. When the moment is charged with excitement and the crowd is cheering and everything feels fresh and full of potential. But the truth is, you don't build legacy from hype. You build it from history, from experience, from wisdom gained in the trenches, not feelings felt in the moment. You see, care enough. You try to build your life. If your business, your calling, or your character solely on emotion, you'll constantly be swinging between extremes. And careful, 1 minute you're confident, the next you're confused. One moment you're ready to go all in, the next you're backing out. That instability will not lead you to purpose. It will trap you in inconsistency. Care enough. But when you begin to build from experience, when you draw on the things you've endured, survived, learned, and overcome, your steps become steady. Care enough. Your growth becomes sustainable. Your direction becomes clear. Because now you're not building from how you feel. You're building from what you know. Experience has taught you lessons that no Instagram quote, no motivational video, and no applause from the crowd ever could. Care enough. It taught you how to lead when no one was following. It taught you how to keep going when no one was clapping. Enough. It taught you how to push past pain and keep pressing even when everything inside of you wanted to give up. Not the rush of a new idea. And care enough. Not the adrenaline of being noticed. Not the thrill of instant validation, but the quiet knowledge that you've been here before. And you've grown from it. When you build from emotion, your life becomes a roller coaster. Every little setback feels like a shutdown. Every delay feels like denial. Every challenge feels like a crisis. But when you build from experience, you realize that every no wasn't a rejection. It was redirection. That every care enough, that every failure wasn't final, it was forming you. That every closed door wasn't the end. It was a setup for something better. Care enough. This doesn't mean you become cold. It doesn't mean you bury your emotions. It means your emotions no longer run your life. You acknowledge them to love enough and care enough, but you don't obey them. You feel them, but you don't follow them because you understand that emotions are temporary, but purpose is permanent. The problem is we've been conditioned to chase feelings, to make decisions based on excitement, to follow hype rather than history. And that's why so many people start strong.